We're telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. KC Cares is the intersection of the profit and nonprofit community, making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. KC Cares is proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. The chance that a person will develop a malignant brain tumor or in the spinal cord in his or her lifetime is less than 1%. And while that statistic may sound small, more than 25,000 malignant brain or spinal cord tumors will be diagnosed this year, and survival rates vary. Regardless, it's a tough diagnosis, one that Chris Anthony was confronted with. An avid runner, Chris died at the age of 37. Determined to honor his memory and raise awareness of this disease, Chris's brother, Matt, along with family and friends, started Head for the Cure, and it's focused on honoring brain cancer survivors, but also raising funds to battle the disease. And we're honored to have Matt join us again today, along with brain cancer survivor, Allie Montgomery. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Great to be here.
Yeah.
We have so much to talk about, and I am awed by both of you and what you do and stepping out to make a difference. Matt, I would like to have our audience have kind of a general sense of Head for the Cure. Your beloved brother suffered with a brain tumor, lost him too early. But man, that's tough enough. You stepped up to create this. So share with us what this is.
Sure. Well, gosh, thanks, Ruth. And thanks again to KC Cares and to you after all these years of allowing us to tell the story. And thanks to Allie. And I think your listeners are going to love, viewers are going to love hearing Allie's story. But yes, you framed it very well. My brother Chris was sort of in the late morning of his life, actually. Two young kids, a great career. He actually, we had the pleasure of working together. I ran VML for 20 years, and Chris ran our Dallas office. So diagnosed, like so many, with a brain tumor, like everyone really, unexpected, unwanted. He was given a very difficult diagnosis, lived a little over 2 years. Along the way, lived an extraordinary life because he lived it in a very ordinary way. That's how I like to describe it. He did everything while facing his disease that he did before it. And among those things was to, if somebody needed a hand, needed a listening ear, Chris was eager to do that. And so it was really his idea to start a 5K. He was a runner and said, we should do something to raise awareness, maybe raise a few dollars for brain cancer research. So that's how Head for the Cure started. His wife Kirsten and I and others in the family put on that first event at Corporate Woods in 2003, which was months after Chris died. Raised $20,000, had 300 people, and Chris asked me if I would carry on his legacy of helping others facing this disease. A very easy promise for a brother to fulfill, and it's been the honor of a lifetime to carry that forward. And really didn't know where this would go, but now 192 events later, over 200,000 people and over $20 million raised through our Head for the Cure platform around the country. And Kansas City is really our signature. It's by far our largest event. It's where we're based. It's where Chris lived. It's where Allie lives. And so it's really the heart of what we're doing. And I would say, Chris absolutely animates everything we do. He's my wingman in this thing. But he would be the first to say, it's really for all those people like Allie who we keep powering forward and working through ups and downs, but knowing that the celebration, the notion of bringing hope and joy to people who are in this community is really our essence. And it's been phenomenal. We battled through the pandemic with a bunch of virtual events, and we're so excited to get back to KC at Corporate Woods in a couple of weeks. So that's really what we're about. We raise awareness for a disease that is under-researched because it's underfunded, and we fundraise against that to help drive clinical trials and programs forward. And then, probably more than anything else, we work to bring solidarity, hope, and a little bit of joy to people facing this disease and their caregivers and loved ones and supporters, all those who encourage. So that's Head for the Cure.
Matt, how many cities are you in now?
So we are in 28 cities now. So it's crazy. And that was particularly difficult during the pandemic because we did virtual events, that is video 5Ks. And we were kind of amazed at how engaged people were still. Though, like so many of us, in living in an over-Zoomed life, people are eager to get back together. And we're trying to do that slowly and with safety and proper precautions. There are ups and downs, but we're determined to get people back together. And so far this year, we've had 4 events in person, 4 virtual. The plan is to do more in person than virtual, and that's the way we're headed. First, with our big one in KC, upcoming the end of August.
Well, we'll come back and talk more nuts and bolts of Head for the Cure, but I want to bring Allie into the conversation and tell us a little bit, if you would, share with us your journey, your very personal journey, having to deal with brain cancer.
Yeah, I love to tell this, the very beginning. Sorry, my dog is just loving this. She's just right here.
Dog's great.
We love that. That's what's great about doing live conversations. Pups should be part of it. If I
should have just put her in another room, but she's loving it. So
she's
behaving. So
she is. She's a good dog.
We get the bonus of a pup podcast, but we'll let you tell the story.
My favorite part of our first connection with Head for the Cure, in 2016, my husband and I decided we wanted to do a 5K, which was going to be a lot of work for me, if I'm totally honest. I am not a runner. I've never been a runner. I was going to do a couch to 5K program. And of course, my husband's like, oh yeah, I can just go out and run a 5K. I'm like, that must be nice. So I was working on that, but I was really struggling because I didn't feel good like all the time. And it was just getting worse. I had headaches a lot. And I just was like, okay, this 5K, I don't think it's going to happen. But the 5K that we chose was Head for the Cure. And the reason is because my dad had a brain tumor when I was 2 years old in 1994. Ooh, that shares my age. A lot of people don't like that. 1992, I'm this old. That makes a lot of people feel weird. But so I was 2 years old. My very first memory in life is when he was growing his hair back. I call my dad Papa. And so we were like, Papa's got hair. It was like this big joyful day. And that's my first memory in life. So that's been a story that I've always known my whole life. And so we decided Head for the Cure was the perfect 5K for us. And then ended up not getting to do it because I, A, felt terrible, and B, I got the word that I had a brain tumor in October of 2016, which is why I felt so terrible. So I had surgery to remove it on October 28th of 2016. And they told me they came out to my parents, my grandparents, and the slew of people that were in the waiting room and said, it's an ependymoma. And my Nana goes, can you spell that for us, please? Because nobody hears ependymoma. That's a super rare, especially in adults. So she wrote it down. We didn't Google it. We went to good sites and found the information that we could and asked our doctors and found out what we could. But essentially, ependymoma is rare, but it can be in the brain or the spine. And I went 2 years after that, cancer-free. And then they found another spot that was suspicious. And my heart just sank. My gut was, I could go back to that moment right now, and my gut was just in a knot. And I was like, okay, they said it's just suspicious. Let's hang on to just suspicious. And come to find out, it was growing and it was a tumor that needed to be removed, most likely an ependymoma. So they took it out, and sure enough, ependymoma. And then I had several more recurrences, with the time in between recurrences getting shorter and shorter and shorter. The largest part of this story, other than being diagnosed originally, was in 2020. the year that we all struggled with all the things. We were quarantined. People were getting COVID. Our hospitals were overwhelmed. I had 3 brain tumors removed in 2020. In November, I was not feeling well again and had a lot of just personality changes, really. I was not on time to anything, which is so not me. Everyone's like, Allie is late? That's weird. I was depressed. I could sleep all day. So I was really struggling. And then one night in the middle of the night, I started having seizures, and my husband had to take me to the ER, and they took a CT scan, and they were like, wow, yep, there's a tumor that we knew was there that is now the size of an apple. So I got rushed to KU, and they did an emergency surgery. The surgeon on call was the surgeon who has done all my other surgeries. And I personally do not believe in coincidences. I think that was how it was meant to be. And then 2 weeks later, I had another one to take out the other tumor that we knew was there also. So 2020 was just wild on so many fronts for us. And we were really ready for 2021. And then in January, just kicking it right off, they were like, oh, another thing growing. And so I had that taken out 5 weeks ago now. So this is what 5 weeks post-op can look like.
You look awesome.
But not for everybody. But that tumor affected my left leg. I have a lot of weakness in my left ankle, and we're working on balance and stuff. So physical therapy is my best friend right now. And so I think that story a lot of times is discouraging based on how many recurrences I've had. And so I always like to share the story and then pause and tell people it's okay if that discourages you, but don't live there. Don't dwell in the, oh my gosh, is that going to be me? Because I'm here, thriving, kicking, and I get to do a lot of things like this, but a lot of fun other things. And so recurrence or no recurrence, life goes on. And I still have family that have supported me and have done a lot of stuff for me. So, so that's the little short, concise version, even though that's not very short. But
well, we're so grateful that you're here and so willing to share that journey. I think
absolutely
you are a poster child, and I can say that you are considerably younger than me, for how to deal with, tough diagnosis with grace. And you seem to be optimistic that it's just keep battling on.
Yeah.
Let's go back. Obviously, in 2016, you didn't do the 5K, but I would like you to share, you came back. You didn't just say, well, hey, I'm the patient now, forget it. Talk a little bit about that and why you did.
Yeah. I'm kind of emotional, so hang on there with me.
That's okay.
In 2017, in 2017, we knew we had to. I don't know, I'm an only child, so my parents, my husband and I just knew we have to do this now. It's no coincidence that last year, this is the one we wanted to do. And then now here we are. This is suited for us, my dad and I both. And so we just knew we had to do it. I personally am a walker. I can walk a good 5K. So we just, I can't tell you really why, other than we just knew. We just knew that was what we were going to do. And my dad was kind enough to nominate me for keeping the faith. And I turned right around and I snuck it on him, and I nominated him the next year. And he kind of lost it. I have not seen my dad cry in a long time, but he was fighting it back. And I was so honored to get to do that in 2018, because he has meant so much to me, and he's gotten me through a lot. I've called him with the weirdest questions. Hey, when is this incision going to stop itching? And he's like, I've been given a couple of weeks, or just little things that are kind of silly that you wouldn't normally ask anybody, but because he's there and he's your dad, you might as well ask. So, we just knew. That's kind of a vague answer, but in 2017, we just knew this was a calling for us.
Matt, tell us a little bit about Keep the Faith.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Allie, for sharing that personal story, and it makes me emotional because the origin of Keeping the Faith, like so much of Head for the Cure, does go back to Chris, and it was during his journey, he, similar to Allie, had recurrences, had surgeries, and his disease was a little more advanced. It was a glioblastoma, which still has a very low survival rate. But Chris had this positivity too, not in a always cheery way, but with people who he needed to connect. He was definitely positive, so positive, and he had this thing. He would sign every email "Keeping the Faith," or in every conversation, "Hey, keeping the faith," and it wasn't it wasn't a evangelical thing. It was just this notion of faith is important. And so our very first event, Kirsten, my sister-in-law, Chris's wife, and I said, let's ask people to nominate for Keeping the Faith. Well, every event since, we have sought nominations for people like Allie to her father to Allie, who will tell the story of strength and perseverance and endurance and courage and everything that faith is. And we realize that faith is very personal. It's faith in your doctors. It's faith in your family that they will carry on. It's faith that you have the courage to battle. It's faith in humanity, and it's faith in God. But that's a variable thing. And that's sort of the truth of Head for the Cure. It's this sort of broad ethos that crosses every way that people live, but I would say it's balanced against the golden rule of help others. And so we have had the pleasure of telling the stories of, I don't know, 700 or 800 people who have been nominated for Keeping the Faith. And I remember Allie and her dad, subsequently, and I. This is the other great thing is I always MC with I'd hold our Casey event, and I MC a good number of our events around the country, and I always get to tell the stories of Keeping the Faith and read the stories and share them, and it's been a great honor of my life, actually, to carry this forward. And the symbol of it all is the Keeping the Faith recognition. So it's pretty powerful. So that's I can't recite your story, Allie, but I sure remember it. So
well, it's changed a lot since he nominated me for that.
The story's continued. There's another. Yes. It's hopefully you're writing a book. Maybe it's enough of a story.
Enough people have told me that. I think maybe I have to.
You might. I mean, I think it. And you have a. You're quite articulate. You do. I like to, when I see people like you, I'd like to end the conversation with "keep smiling," because you're always smiling. I love that. That's
people say that about my husband too. Between the two of us, like we just
the smiling Montgomerys.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you going to be able to participate this year, or are you going to be more cheerleader than participant, Allie?
I am going to do my best. I told my physical therapist that was my goal. I want to walk the whole 5K. But we've had a couple setbacks, and balance is a struggle right now. So I don't know how far I can get, but I will go as far as I can. My husband will do the whole 5K.
I'm betting on you. It's that's the thing about Head for the Cure. Well, it's not a race. I mean, there are. We always have. It's a great balance, isn't it, Allie? I mean, we have plenty of runners who are out for that personal record and want to drive to the time, but we have as many, in fact, more walkers and people that are really there to. It might be the only 5K they've ever done or ever do that year, and
it was my first.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? It's like, yeah, we take all comers. There were many strollers as there are 80-year-olds. So it's a good balance, and I can't wait to get back and see people.
Me neither. I was really bummed when it got rained out. I love a good thunderstorm, but I was like, later, do it later.
No kidding. And that was a thunderstorm one. And as we're talking about 2019, Ruth, that's so it's really been, it's crazy. But we had gone 17 years without, or 16 years, no rain, cancellation, nothing. So through it, and then 19, we're up on stage. We had 4,000 people there, and the sky's just, and Gary Lezak is up there. Remember that? And
it just like opened up.
Yeah, just it's crazy. I think it rained more over a 90-minute period than it had in like 2 years. So then last year, the pandemic, we were virtual. So we're
August 29th in person in Kansas City. Yes. We're one of those events. And where can folks go to find out about particulars about race, but also about what you're doing?
Great. Thanks, Ruth. Yes. So headforthecure.org. Of course, like most things, that you can find out all about Head for the Cure, and you can find all about headforthecure.org/Metro KC to register for the 5K here in KC. And we're really excited that the numbers look great. We have 140 teams signed up, and there's still plenty of time. I want to let everybody know that while it's outside of Corporate Woods, Building 40, like we have every year, big party, we have live music, pancake breakfasts, lots of food vendors. It is a great time. And
my mom is there for the pancakes, man.
I like about 1,500 other people. So that's I love that part too. And we got a great new band this year too. So it's going to be really fun. And packet pickup is the day before. Also outside this year, we have a little expo thing going on. Mm-hmm. We're also going to do a bike ride the day before for anybody that wants to bike ride. Oh. So that's kind of cool. But it's going to be a great weekend. And I know people are eager to get out and of course, we're all still wary of the fact that we have not completely turned the corner on COVID. So, we're going to take safety measures. And also, if you don't feel yet comfortable being out, then there is a virtual component as well. But our biggest partner at the Cure Kansas City is KU Health System and KU Cancer Center. And Roy Jensen, who runs the Cancer Center, he and I check in all the time, and he's completely supportive of getting back in person. It's an outdoor event. But we'll have plenty of people masking, and we have masks available at headforthecure.org as well, and we'll have them out there. So we're going to encourage social distancing and manage the kids run away from we're taking all the precautions, and I think that I think you'll find it a wonderful environment, a wonderful, safe environment. So if you've been to the store or been to a concert or been to a baseball game, Head for the Cure will be an even more managed environment, but I think you'll have a great time.
And it's a beautiful course.
Oh yeah, Allie, yeah,
absolutely gorgeous.
Testify to that.
Yeah, it's not too hilly if that's a thing you're thinking about. The trees are absolutely gorgeous. There's a little out if you're like me, where you're like, I think I might be done. Which
so
I want to know. To put in.
I want to know. You thought about putting
no one will know.
Yeah.
Putting a GoPro on somebody so virtual walkers could actually see the course.
Ruth, great idea. We have been doing that for all of our virtual events, and we will do it again in KC. So absolutely, you'll be able to actually run through the actual course. So that's but it is true. This is it's Corporate Woods, so it's easy. It's there's no traffic. We're everything's blocked off, so it's super safe. Big wide streets, really well managed. And you're right, most of it's in the shade, which is kind of amazing. Some of us remember when Corporate Woods was built, there wasn't a tree to be had, but that's what time does. So things
We're just the wiser. I don't want to leave our conversation, though, without letting our audience know the funds that you raise. Yes. Where do they go?
Thank
And
you.
are we making any headway?
Yeah.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah, it's a perfect pun. And so, yes, so the funds go to a number of sources. The focus is brain tumor research, all types of brain tumors. And that goes to a couple places. We initiated and continue to be the primary supporter of the Brain Tumor Trials Collaborative, which is a collective of 34 academic cancer centers, brain tumor centers within the academic cancer centers, including University of Kansas Cancer Center and NCI, National Cancer Institute Hospital, and the likes of MD Anderson, Columbia Presbyterian in New York, Advocate in Chicago, Mayo Clinic, the top academic cancer centers of the country. So these are the top brain docs who work together and form a force multiplier to progress in initiating and managing clinical trials. And Head for the Cure is the primary supporter. In addition, that's half of our funds. Half of our funds support the brain cancer center, the brain tumor center at the local institution. In the case of Kansas City, that's University of Kansas Cancer Center. So we've granted over $2 million to KU since we started. So KU, that's a substantial contribution. We also have programs that we support. The Brains for the Cure, which is an online portal that helps patients and caregivers like Allie and her husband kind of navigate the process, and we continue to improve it, make it better. There's 150 videos of patients and doctors and caregivers, and asking everything from is it safe to exercise to what can I expect in the workplace, post-op, so there's a lot of really valuable information there, and that's sponsored by Head for the Cure. So research, programs, national research, local research, and programs that we manage at Head for the Cure. So we're making good use of the funds that our community has supported. In terms of progress, absolutely. And it's such a, well, you shared the stats early, Ruth. There are hundreds of different tumor types. Allie's ependymoma is one of many. That needs its own set of research to manage the path forward. Astrocytoma, oligoglioma, glioblastoma, all of these have unique characteristics, and that's why these docs, a small group of docs that are doing big work. And yes, progress is being made. Some tumors are really very manageable, and surgery, unfortunately, often recurrent surgery, as is Allie's case, is the best path forward. Others, clinical trials are in process to drive that forward. The progress is lifespans people are living longer, even with the most serious tumors, and other tumors are being eradicated. So there absolutely is progress. It's not solved yet. The grade 4 glioblastoma is still has a very low survival rate in the small single digits. But people are living longer, living better, and that's improvement. That while some might say it's incremental is important. You don't ultimately solve something unless you have little steps along the way. And I don't know who said, it might have been the Dalai Lama who said, big things happen when through a series of small things coming together, and I kind of live my life that way. So,
well, I know that Chris would be so proud, and so that seems like an insignificant word to use, but just amazed at what those small steps have become in helping so many people at least have the hope that things will, change, move forward, have a light. And Allie, your story is just so inspiring. Just in a number of ways for folks. So we appreciate your sharing that and being so lovely in something that's very personal to do. And the dog behaved. I'm so proud of your dog.
I didn't hear a bark.
She doesn't bark. She's not a barker, but she pitter patters her little paws around. That's for sure.
She's team Head for the Cure. There you go.
Allie,
we should get dog bandanas.
Are you going to will she walk with you? I mean, dogs are allowed. So I should tell people that. So
well,
bring your dogs for sure.
We'll see. She's a husky, so she's a little wild. If there's another dog, she's like, I got to go over there.
She's work. Okay. Well, yeah. then she'll have friends. Yeah.
I'll just pet all the other dogs.
There you go.
So don't let those pups deter you. Either way, come on out. And if you can't make it, you can virtually walk, check in with Head for the Cure, just to keep up on all the great work that's going on. Started from a very grassroots passion and now is just doing wonderful things. I thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you to Casey Cares for what you do too, to salute orgs like ours that are trying to help people. That's what we're about. And you guys you're a great mouthpiece to do that. So thank you, Ruth.
Well, we're honored to have.
Great to see you. Hey, Allie.
Yeah.
Keep smiling.
Thank you. I can't help it. My mom and I, we always joke that when we smile, our eyes go away because our cheeks are full.
You look perfect. And we want to thank you for listening to Casey Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications, and we're proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. If you'd like to be a guest like Matt and Allie or underwriting opportunities, please visit our website, kccaresonline.org, and spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at Casey Cares Radio and on Instagram at Casey Cares Online. And catch us on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Thank you for tuning in to Casey Cares.